Mhm.
Hello, hello. We have a very special guest today with us, Nancy from Wingate in Needham. Welcome. Please tell us
Thank you.
a little about yourself and what we're going to learn today.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Ashley. Um, so my name is Nancy Andrie, and I work for Wingate Senior Living here in Needham, Massachusetts. And it is a senior living community that has basically a full continuum of care under the umbrella. So we have independent living, we have assisted living, and then we have a secure memory care. And we are adding on to our collective a new independent living community opening up in 26, and that is a entrance fee independent living community. So we are very, very excited about it. And yeah, so great. But thanks for having. I'm so excited to be here today with you, Ashley. You know, I love to connect with you. I think you're a phenomenal human being, an incredible realtor. And so thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with my orange glow. I'm traveling, so I have a weird lighting situation happening, but that's beside the point. So let's say somebody, if people are watching this and they know that either it's time to start thinking about this for themselves or maybe even for their parents who maybe aren't in the best health or just the house is too much. Um, when would you recommend people come and take a tour and meet with you?
Absolutely. Great question. It is never too early to come, take a tour, get some basic information. Right now, waiting lists are they're really long, depending upon they're very, very, very long for independent living. Could be up to 5 years. We don't have that right now because we're opening a new building. And as far as just for assisted living or memory care, which seems to be a little bit more need based, there's still wait lists. So to make a relationship with a community, I think the first thing you want to do is identify where location, where would it be best to have whoever it is, mom, dad, loved one, um, look at a different community. So that would be the first thing that I would recommend doing. And once you have identified location wise, then I would, talk to people, ask people who they recommend. I mean, that's word of mouth is always the absolute best way to get a referral. And you know this just from what you do, because people refer to people. And so, therefore, if you can trust, you have somebody that you trust that is very active in the town or different towns, start there. But it's never too soon. We have people that call us and say, I am really not probably going to do anything for the next, 2 to 3 years, and we welcome it. It's great because you know what? At the very minimum, they're gonna, well, not at the very minimum, they're gonna leave the tour with having some information and basically being able to check that off the list. So that's the first step that I would do, and it's never, ever, ever too soon. So
I agree with that. And I know it's not the most popular topic, but I know that there are times when the plan is in place for several years down the road, but then something medical happens and that timeline gets moved up. And so if people have
absolutely.
already done some of that legwork, it just can make it a lot less stressful and less running around.
Absolutely, because if they've done the legwork and they've connected with, if they've identified that it's really important, for this community to have a, you know, all different areas and types of living, meaning independent living, assisted living, and memory care, then they can just circle back to that community. It just makes their life so much easier, and things do change every day. In this thing called life that we're doing. um, yeah, it's nothing's for certain. So you want to know that you've crossed your T's, dotted your I's, and that you feel comfortable with the company that you're working with. So
For sure. So memory care is pretty self-explanatory. What's the quick difference between independent living and assisted living in case anyone isn't sure?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's something that the main difference is between independent living and assisted living. And that is such a great question, something that comes up constantly, several times a day, where people just don't really understand the difference. Assisted living is you are just getting some assistance with your activities of daily living, and you're living in a community setting. And that's why people realize that one of their loved one or themselves that would benefit from being in that type of community where they're getting some assistance. Usually it's, for example, here at Wingate, it's 45 minutes a day, and that's getting assistance from one of our aides, from one of the Wingate aides, whether it's just sitting there while you're taking a shower, just in case, if you're not feeling very steady on your feet, or helping to get dressed, or helping to accompany down to a meal or to an activity. And then independent living is you're totally independent. You are just getting help if you're in a community with the things that none of us really want to deal with, the shoveling and the parking, and housekeeping. And we're not, there is no medical care built into that. So it's just that you're wanting to be in a community with other people that are like yourself. And you're really there for programming, and just to have all these wonderful different things when you wake up in the morning, from having your coffee made, to going to a group exercise class, to going to a museum, and then going to lunch afterwards, and then coming back to the community for a happy hour and listening to this incredible musician. And so it's really things like that, but there's no, it's hands off. So
That sounds wonderful.
that's really the big difference here.
Yeah. Is there an age minimum? Can I move in? Because that sounds
Yes,
great.
yeah, yes, yes, 55 and older.
Okay.
So basically I'm there. And it's amazing because, they say I'd say the average age to start looking for independent living is early 70s.
Hmm.
And I
But
would
it
say,
could
as
be a
far as
lot
it
sooner.
could be a lot sooner. There are people in their late 60s, especially people that they've really done their homework, and they've called so many of these different places, and they've heard, it's a 5-year plus wait list. Um, they're getting on the wait list, and they're moving in, especially now, I would say, after the pandemic and after just so many crazy things that we never thought would really happen. People are starting to really enjoy what they have and how hard they've worked a little sooner than they may have thought. So,
Yeah,
which is a great thing. So,
I think so too. I feel like it's why not take advantage of the
absolutely.
opportunity to not have to take care of this property anymore and just
Exactly.
have someone do
Exactly.
everything for you.
Have somebody do everything, and you can still, there's people that move into independent living that still work, that still, go to a job and do their thing, and you know, um, that's their true passion. So just because you're in a community setting doesn't mean you can't still do that.
Right.
So,
That's an
and that's,
important point.
it really is an important point. So we have a lot of people, and there is a method to the madness. Oftentimes, you see people working well into their 90s, and they're doing great, physically and mentally, which is obviously a huge piece and part of this. So I think there's something to be said of the whole
Yeah. Well,
job
you
thing and
meet with a lot
careers.
of people and you meet with a lot of families who are in this transitional phase or thinking about it. What's one piece of advice that you would give them as we kind of wrap up our video?
I would say that the best piece of advice that I can provide is, people say, how will I know? How will I know that this is the right community for me? And the answer is really pretty simple. You're going to get a feeling. You're going to get a feeling when you walk in that this is right. This is so good. It's almost like, for lack of a better word, I'm home. And
Yeah.
you will, and people do get that feeling. So we can't force that down your throat, nor can any community. It's, it's something that it just feels right. And I usually say if that's the case, definitely at the very minimum get on the wait list, whether it's for independent or for years down the road, that you think that yourself or somebody close to you might need help, and it might be interested in assisted living. So at least get on those lists, and then the ball is in your court. You're kind of overseeing how you want things to go. So
I love
that would be
that.
my biggest takeaway. Yeah, yeah.
That makes
It's
so
all in
much sense.
feeling and feeling good.
Yeah, pay attention to that gut instinct. It'll tell you.
Yep. And I'm sure you know that it's just working with different clients. And there's some people that just work really well with this type of person, and other people that, we're all different. So we all get that feeling.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your
Well,
time
thank
and advice.
you. This is great.
Um,
Yes. Thank you for all of your support with Wingate. And if anybody ever has any questions or concerns or, what have you, please reach out to me, Wingate Needham. I am happy to help because first and foremost, we are all in this business of helping people as they age. We want to be a resource, and we want to be the best resource out there.
same,
So
same.
thank
So I'll
you.
put your contact info and my contact info in the notes for the
Great.
episode. And I'm Ashley Harwood with Keller Williams Realty, covering the whole area, Needham, Newton, into Boston, out to Metro
Everywhere.
West, everywhere you are, I can help. And I do provide consults in home to just give an idea of what the property is worth and how much equity. People are usually shocked at how much equity they've built. So those are
Yeah,
fun
which is awesome.
conversations for me to have.
Yeah, and it is a good time now, right? I'm sure, people always ask you, when's it time? When should I do it? When should we, you know, get the house on the market? So
But again, never for us too, never too early to start the
never too early.
conversation. So, all right,
Yeah.
thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.